We move to a very exciting part of today's program, a panel discussion on how women are shaping the future of education and technology in the maritime field. This session is supported by MUI and will be led by our moderator, Dr. Dipti Mankar, founder of Mindspeak. Let me introduce our panelists as well. As I take the name, I would request every one of you to please come on the stage, please. Ms. Sushma Trimbakar, Team Lead Marine Support Cargo. Ms. Amita Kamath, Principal and Director, College of Advanced Maritime Studies and Director, International Women Seafarer Foundation. Ms. Reshma Murkar, Chief Officer, Synergy Group. Ms. Saraswati Rajkumar Thapa, Trainee Candidate, GS Rating Course, New Sea Maritime Academy. Let's welcome them all with a big round of applause. Now I hand over the session to Dr. Dipti.
I know there are very few people, so what? That's okay. We are still going to do it. So before we begin this session, a quick note I wanted to really make here. Firstly, thank you Maritime Union of India, Captain Tushar Pradhan, for trusting me to moderate the session, which was originally to be moderated by Ms. Saleha Sheikh of MUI Women's Wing. She's a founder, but due to some unforeseen circumstances, she could not be with us today. So I have taken the baton from her today. Another two people whom I would really like to thank here is Mr. Barucha, who's taking the photograph of us, sir, and Delphine from Marix, because they too were very instrumental in last 3 days to bear with me and to coordinate the panel. And of course, all the panelists who are here. Someone has come from Kerala, someone from Lonavala, someone is from Mumbai, and I don't know, Reshma? Lonavala again. So thank you for being here. And also thank you to Captain Bhasin, because he called me and asked me, are you okay? You need anything, then just tell me. And Bharti ma'am also called and offered help. So that's great that people did call and they put in together. Even somebody just calling and saying that, do you need anything, means a lot. So thank you to all of you, those who are instrumental in making this panel possible. So this session is divided into 3 segments, and we will try and curtail with the timing, because I know everybody is hungry. Half of them are already standing in the lunch queue line. I don't know why. Lunch is not served, but they're standing in the line. So part 1, where we are giving an opportunity to each of the panelists, they will be presenting for 5 minutes each. Part 2, we'll restrict to 1 question per panel. And of course, part 3 would be the Q&A. That is for you if you all have any questions to ask a panelist. So we're going to start with Sushma. I hope you're okay if I call you by your first name only. Yeah. So Sushma, over to you.
I don't mind standing here.
We need a clicker for the presentation.
Which is the one to go next? This one? Sure? Okay. And I have a combination inbuilt in it. Which is like animation of the which you can create when I do. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and my esteemed speakers, as well as my colleagues from the maritime industry. So, thank you, Dr. Dipti and the colleagues from MUI who have invited me to speak on a topic actually very dear to my heart, that is about women in maritime edtech. So let us start with a small story about myself and why I'm here. So yeah, I would have loved to even see a full house to talk about a topic which is very, not something that many people have touched upon in the maritime training sector. But I hope the video recording is shared and then, people get to know about this. So yes, I start my journey by telling you all about how I ended up in this field. So yes, being a daughter among 3 boys and from a business family, I was actually, sort of expected to join my dad's business as completing my commerce graduation to handle the accounts. A very obvious thing from the girls in the family. But thanks to my mom, she encouraged me to have my own career, and that's how I started my journey in multimedia. So almost 10 years in multimedia training, where I got to train people from various sectors who were interested, and that was actually a boom when the multimedia started. I'm talking about somewhere 2005. So after completing my maritime venture, when I started first with Williamson and later with V-Ships, I switched from, you could say, from being the person behind the scenes who was developing the animations or the ad medias to be in the forefront of training seafarers. So that's when I came to know my passion for training and how I used my knowledge of animation and multimedia in getting involved in the maritime training sector as well. So let us come to the actual task, that is why I'm here, about how multimedia is helping maritime training to achieve what was never expected. So let us start. So I will be introducing you about at least minimum 3 tools that we are using in multimedia for maritime training. The first one is 3D animation. And why did we choose this? Basically, a 3D animated video on maritime training is very simple to understand. It allows you to create simulations or use case studies for the betterment of our knowledge of our seafarers. But obviously, when there's a visual representation, what you're seeing right now on your screen, it helps you to overcome any type of language barrier as well. So visual representation in form of 3D is what we are driving towards in multimedia. Next, the tool that I would like to just show you a small clip how 3D animation is being used in maritime training and helping our seafarers to achieve a better understanding about safety and different aspects of the knowledge that they are required to attain. So please, can you play the clip? Okay, so what you're seeing in my background is all 3D animated videos wherein it's not just again I would come back to our women empowerment, where all these, whatever you're seeing, my team involves almost 25 to 30% of girls. So they are there in every sector where a person with a background of multimedia, animation, you could say sound editing, special effects, there are girls everywhere in this sector also. So even if you're not a seafarer, basically if you have done your software programming or your animation training, you can be a part of this beautiful world of 3D animation, wherein we are imparting knowledge to our seafarers with the effects, special effects, and live experiences where, how an accident if happens and what are the learnings out of it. So the case studies are used to create a 3-dimensional, so this is how a 3D animation is used for maritime training, and yes, a lot of girls are involved here. Me, myself, I'm a marine support team lead, but I have almost 5 girls in my team who are helping communicate with all the seafarers on a daily basis with software background and understanding of the seafaring knowledge as well. So let us come to the second tool that we are talking about in multimedia. How multimedia, basically AI, is helping us in achieve something that is very interactive, and yes, it's very time efficient. These tools are helping us to communicate well with the seafarers. Plus, as you see on the screen, the AI is also doing a personalized training by using the AI avatars of the management representatives in directly communicating with the seafarers on topics of various safety or knowledge or everyday discussions or even the SMS. So the AI avatars are being used accordingly. Next, I'll just take you up to augmented reality. This is a very good tool being used in maritime training. Augmented reality is a combination of the digital world with the real world. So augmented tools are actually used for hands-on training. So
Entrepreneur, right? So over to you, Amita.
Thank you, Dipti. Hello. Good afternoon all esteemed dignitaries and distinguished delegates. It is an honor and privilege to address this gathering today. I extend my warmest greetings and heartfelt appreciation to each of you and your presence and contribution towards this training, Sagar Mein Samman project. My name is Amita Kamath. I am a chief engineer. Let me tell you a small story. When I was in 7th standard, my principal, there's the first time public exams. So my school headmaster, he said, it was a very small school. He said, you have to take this girl out of education and buy her 2 cows. So she can be sell milk and be a business lady. If my parents had opted for that whatever headmaster has said, I would not have been here. That same girl, she scored so much, not very average studies. She went to UK, studied in Scotland, and she scored top in the Glasgow College of Nautical Studies in marine engineering. What changed? You know what changed? The atmosphere, the teaching, how she was taught, how she was respected. And the faculty over there understood her needs, how she was to make the teaching. So when this training, when we are talking about the training, it has to be complete. It cannot be complete without respect. It cannot be complete without proper education. Each student, each candidate has got his different way of learning. And the training needs should know how to make that student to learn. When a student fails, it is not that student it failed. It's the teacher, it's the training needs which failed. So that is how we started a training institute back in Calicut. And I'll tell you, we actually take care of the training needs of the candidates. The candidates, when they come there, they are happy. They give a review. They say, because I was from a very hard, I was not very good at studies, good at anything. And training made me good. So I know how important it is to get well trained. Now, as a seafarer to entrepreneurship, every seafarer can be an entrepreneur. Every seafarer can be a business person. Why? Because they are making water on board, they are manufacturing. They are manufacturing processed food. They are generating electricity. They are doing everything by themselves. They are good at communication because they are going to go to different countries. They are good in finance because they are doing exchange in different currencies. So they are good at everything. So seafarer, how come seafarer fails to be a businessman? You know why? Because there are 3 things are involved. 1, sacrifice, motivation, and attitude. Now you might think like I might be talking about my sacrifices, my this, my that, nothing. I never did any sacrifice in my life. The sacrifice was done by the people around me. You know, my family, my kid. I have a 3-year-old daughter and 11-year-old. So they are sacrificing their mother time. You know, they are leaving me to achieve what I want. They're letting it. You can do it. The sacrifice is done by my husband. He is letting me do it. You can achieve it. The sacrifice is done by my in-laws when they need their bahu, you know, in their old age. They're letting me do all these things, what I want to do in life. With their sacrifice comes motivation. What motivation? That will motivate me to come forward in my life. It's not my sacrifice. It's their sacrifice and my motivation. And the other thing I find is attitude. Attitude to accept change. That is very important. You have to always accept that, okay, this is not going to sustain there. This is going to change. And when something new comes, you should be the first person to accept it. Yes, I will do it. And that is the only thing which is going to help you to be an entrepreneur, nothing else. Thank you, Deepti, and thank you all to giving me opportunity. I won't spend much of time. I know everybody is hungry. Everybody needs to have lunch. Thank you, and that is only 1 minute left of that video. And once the video is finished, I will finish my talk. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Amita. So like Amita said, it's sacrifice of kids, but I think we all are mothers here. I mean, sorry, not Saraswati, but yes. But the thing is, what I have noticed in the 16 years of my life in shipping, in maritime is, as a woman, we should first stop feeling guilty about, oh, my son is having 100 temperature. Oh, will I miss a PTA? Yes, I've also missed certain PTAs of my children. But I think more important is for the children, that as working ladies, we have to make our children more independent. And they should respect the work we are doing. And my children really do that. They understand when I'm in stress. They are very young. And the second thing I think which works is a work-life balance. Just a few days back, one of the girls came and asked me, "Ma'am, I'm married for 5 years. I just want to ask you, how do you have a work-life balance?" So I said, "Do you love your job?" She's saying, "I love it." I said, "Are you passionate about what you do?" She's saying, "Yes, I am." I said, "Then remember one thing. You as a housemaker, you cannot replace that in your life. But what you can do is sacrifice your own time. So you have to, you sleep for 8 hours, you'll have to sleep for 6 hours. If you want to follow your passion, you'll have to do a work outside. But when you're home, tie your hair up, get into the kitchen, make a meal for your children. That also you will have to do. You will also have to cater to the educational needs of your children with a smile and happy face. You will have days which are frustrating, but that is your choice. You have chosen to make a career, but not at the cost of sacrificing home and children. Because again, the home and child is what you want. And I think they are the driving force. So it's very important to maintain everything is possible. We have to create a support system for us so that we can thrive. All right. With that, we are going to move on to our next.
I like to say one more word. My 11-year-old daughter has adopted my 3-year-old daughter. So what happens is she is the second mom for my baby. So she takes care of everything. If I'm in travel, she packs her dresses, diapers, food, everything she packs and she keeps in the bag. I don't have to worry a single minute because she knows Mama has got to do something else. And she feels so responsible for it. She even thinks, you know, if she doesn't pack it properly, she's the one who is to be blamed for. So I should appreciate everybody's effort. I should appreciate everybody who is here,
Yes.
who is trying to achieve something, who is already achieved. That is a big motivation for each of us.
Absolutely.
Thank you, thank you.
Moving on, now we have spoken about EdTech, we have spoken about entrepreneurship, and now let's get back to C, right? So we have Reshma Murkar here, and she is going to share her journey, and she is a Chief Officer with Synergy. Thank you, Reshma, for being there. Could we have her AV, please, also? Thank you.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon to all the dignitaries and my fellow seafarers. I would like to take this opportunity and the stage for my fellow seafarers and share my journey, the way I have endured and made my path across for past 16 years. And I started in 2008. I would like to thank my, actually I was a sports person, let me get back to that first. I was playing hockey, doing nice, I was selected for states, I was playing kabaddi, going for nationals, but then something happened, you don't get money. You That's the basic thing, you don't get money, you get appreciation, you get rewards, you get awards, you get certified, you get trophies, but you don't get money. Then it happened that when I was playing around, I was, of course, more than average in studies. And in my classes, like tuition classes, they promote education and they said, you are more than average, I think you should also concentrate on your studies. I said, okay, fine, please call your parents. I said, okay. So, I would like to thank Great Eastern and Mr. More, of course, because he was the one who called my parents. And he recognized in me that, okay, other than sports also, or other than being average or scoring 80% or 90% academically, won't give you money or anything else. It will acknowledge you in life. But yes, then, of course, they show you all the presentation with uniform, white crisp, this, that, good money, contract letter, basic, average, financial background person. Everyone will understand and means they will agree on this, that we only come here because of money and because of the uniform and nothing else. That is the base. And of course, with time, we get attracted to the sea life. It is a life that it is non-glamorous. Of course, you will see in my pictures, I don't have any glamorous pictures. The way I am here, I am all dark shaded, everything, all greased up, everything of that sort. So this is what I could relate. Now I have something written like, इतना इंग्लिश तो नहीं आता है, थोड़ा बहुत हिंदी भी आएगा बीच में. So good morning everyone, my name is Reshma Murkar, and for over 16 years with over 5 years as chief officer, the sea has been my enduring classroom and many ways my home. So my parents, what they taught me initially, I would like to share, because I think it is very important for every individual to understand this. Today, my parents taught both my sisters that, baby, kamana seekho yaar, matlab learn to earn your money, whatever it is. And my father and my mother both, back when I was 16 years old, they taught me this. And of course my brother, Baba, you should be a good cook. It is, and today my brother is a better cook than us, not us. Not both my sisters, but he is a better cook. That is how I got thrilled that it is a very important aspect to grow in life, not just having a normal routine job, but something beyond that. And of course, the adrenaline rush was always there in me because of sports background, but what got stability in me was purely sailing. Sailing is not adventure sport. Sailing is stability. It shapes you in a way that your mental stability is much better, and it means the very basic qualities like resilience, focus, sportsmanship, everything, it shapes you in that. All the hardship, fitness, every aspect as a sailor, what I believe and what I have learned, I can put in words in this way. Then looking back, I can honestly say that pursuing this career wasn't a meticulously planned objective. As I said, it was just because someone who had pushed me and my parents was like, अरे तो समुद्री लड़ाकू होता है ना उधर, तो तू उधर फंस जाएगी, and bribing me for things that, okay, we don't think so, कि this is something that we are meant for doing or looking up to. Because I remember we were just two in the institute in 2007 or 8. So it was not much appreciated back then, and they had to take one more fellow seafarers because 3 ka room to bharna padega na. Then I came from a lower middle class background, seeking opportunity. I'm grateful for my teachers and encouraged my family. Of course, life at sea had been challenging, demanding unusual working hours and varied circumstances. But as the saying goes, if you cannot avoid it, better enjoy it. And you know, fill in the blank. Everybody knows, I don't want to say it. I vividly recall a man overboard just sharing a small experience as a mate, what I had faced. There are many experiences. You come across bad weather, bad situations. Everybody knows working on tankers, you have so many things. Everything cannot be talked in a stage as a frontal experience because we have youngsters around and I don't want to encourage any which way in a negative manner. But as a positive thing, we had a man overboard experience and I was the mate on that vessel. What I understood and what shaped me better was the team effort. It is, today we have Sagar Mein Samman, but back in 2008 when we started, there was nothing much. But still, I would like to take this platform and appreciate all the men around me who have encouraged me and pushed me specifically because other than that, there were no women seafarers as such. The men have trained us. It's not the women. So let's appreciate. Yes. And I was sailing on one of my vessels, the only lady, of course, with common washroom. You have to inspect, you have to train people how to maintain it. But I should appreciate and thank all the men around me that I didn't feel that I'm a woman or I'm a man or I don't have strength or I have equivalent strength because I was the one who is hitting gym every day and building up muscles or building up this and that. And other than that, in this situation, what I appreciate and understand that I came out as a leader in that circumstances because of the people around me. They were there and that is how we were able to rescue the person in less than 3 minutes. It was not an onboard person, it was just a third party who had fell on board outside. And then how things go around just to save that life around us was a challenge. But as a leader or as a person, I would like to appreciate all the men on that vessel and all, specifically my master, that we were able to save a life out at sea with all the efforts put. Other than that, we have so many other experiences. Specifically, I remember one experience of mine when we used to transit Gulf of Aden. I don't think so Rupali ma'am is there. We were sailing on one of the vessels where Aden transit, where the company wasn't sure. It is back in 2012-13, where the company wasn't sure. They called us on board. And they were like, भाई लड़की लोग को पूछ लो एक बार जाना है कि नहीं. We were ranking officers. Ma'am was second engineer, I was second officer. But then they don't know what to do. We don't know whether we are there to represent a rank on board. And there is only one rank. There is no male, there is no female on board. There is a rank. सब लोग आपको बोलेगा चीफ साहब, सब लोग बोलेगा सेकंड साहब. ऐसा नहीं है कि मैडम बोलेगा कि क्या नहीं बोलेगा. So there is one rank. We told our company, no, why we have been to these countries or we have been to the ports earlier also. So we would like to, because back in 2012-15, the Aden voyages were not like how we do it today. Today we have third-party security agencies on board. It used to be group convoys. You are 3-4 ships and you go. But what happened in this voyage, yes, we were explaining about all the Citadel situation, everything. In this 4 convoy ship, there was an attack on the other ship. And I was the second officer. And as soon as everywhere you cannot show bravery, as soon as we heard, because there was an VHF conversation that was happening and they were calling for Mayday that we have a such and such situation. We have group convoys and we have IRCTC convoys, that is with the naval convoys. So we were in the group convoys. What we did best was take the ship ahead, full ahead, with the full RPM, and I remember ma'am was chief engineer or I think second engineer, and we moved out of their space. These are some of my experiences which I wanted to...
Reshma,
Yes.
we'll have to cut short.
Yeah.
We'll have to wind up. We have
Yeah,
one.
yeah, sure. So I'm very sorry. So because it's lunch time. So thank you very much, fortunately. And once again, I would like to highlight all the fellow seafarers or the young people who are coming on board. Just there are 3-4 things that you have to concentrate on: focus, resilience, and the strength in you. Just build up on that and you'll be able to make it. I had made it for 16 years. You can make it probably for 25 or 30 or maybe more than that, and you will achieve whatever you want to. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Reshma.
Now, ma'am has taken all her time, so she won't be getting any time.
No. Yes.
Just ragging, just ragging.
Okay, so I'm very happy actually today because we have Saraswati Rajkumar Thapa, and it's really great because she's one of the 5 tribal girl cadets selected by NUSI for GP rating training, and I think it's really great, and we have her friend colleagues there. Can you wave out? We can have the picture on the screen, please. And they are the first amongst the tribal girls to be selected into GP rating. I think all those who are at least sitting in the hall should give them a clap because they need encouragement. They're stepping into our world now. So Saraswati, you can take the mic, please. So along with Saraswati, there is Srishti, Payal, Sakshi and Goody. And they are the 5 girls. And we welcome you with open arms and heart into our industry. So Saraswati, quickly tell me what inspired you to take this leap into the maritime? Why this career?
I really love to travel overall the world, but I don't that much situation that I travel over the world. I am coming from Sampark Balagram Bhaze orphanage that help like child like me to grow up securely. So I don't have support, that much support. That's why I choose this stream to complete my dream.
And you're going to join NUSI Academy
Yes,
in Goa
yeah.
along with your 4 other
Four
girls.
girls.
Yes. So what are you most excited about?
I'm more excited about learning new things and becoming part of marine industry. I'm so nervous.
No, that's okay. Come on, clap for her, everyone. You don't need to be nervous. We are very nice people, Saraswati. We are all very nice people. Go ahead.
And gaining new experience, meeting new people, traveling over the world, and completing my dream.
And what gives you strength and resilience? You're all from Balgram, you told me, from the orphanage.
My strength is my own journey. I overcome. I did struggle, lot of struggle, and my resilience is not only bounce back to your, adversity, but learn from it and become stronger and stronger.
Oh, yes. And we are all very proud of you. Okay, don't be nervous. Okay, Saraswati, so after you do your course, today you've seen so many other women here. Yes,
Yes.
I'm sure they've inspired you.
Yeah.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years from now?
After 5 years, I see myself as a competent officer and working on vessels and become part of marine industry, taking responsibilities and,
Yeah, great. Any one person who has motivated you a lot in this journey? Anyone whom you would like to thank or you want to acknowledge?
I thanks to Amit Kumar Banerjee, founder of Sampark Balagram Orphanage. He encouraging me. He taking my father's duty. He's not my biological father, but he did for me for more than my biological father. He support me, encourage me for this journey, and he always say, anything happen, I'm always back behind you. Just go and do it.
No, I think he's done a great job, and I think we can see that in the girls who have come here today. So it's wonderful. And,
Thank you, ma'am.
you know, now you're going to be a part of Maritime.
Yes.
You'll have great mentors. We have great people here to help, right? And it's going to be a fantastic journey for you. And yes, it's great that you want to be an officer, right?
Thank you, ma'am.
Can we have a big round of applause for Saraswati? And her girls who have come, can you stand, please? Let everybody have a look at you as well, those who have joined her. There she is. So that's great. In fact, thank you, girls. Sit. In fact, I think it's very important that Nusi has also taken this step. MUI was very instrumental in bringing these girls here today to be a part of today's program. So we are very happy to have you here, Saraswati,
Thank you,
along
ma'am.
with your friends. And quick, we have just 5 minutes remaining. So anyone from the audience would like to ask any question here? There are so many ladies. Subrata sir is also sitting there. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Anyone would like to ask anything? Yes, sir. Could we have the mic for sir, please? Yes. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Yes, Reshma? Yes.
I actually don't have any question, but I just want to welcome Saraswati and her other 4 girls. We are the so-called seniors in the industry now, and I can assure you that the maritime administration of the country and our leaders, as well as people who will be, women who will be your mentors in the coming years, we are all very, very happy and welcome you all to the industry. That's one. And the other thing is, we're all here to help, and we're all on all social media handles and this and that everywhere, and we are here to help at any point in time when you need maybe a kind word, or you want to share some experience, ask some doubts, or even ask for mentorship. There are so many avenues for mentorship right now, and that is the support we can extend to the girls who are coming in. Also, I want to wish you well, safe seas, and a good career ahead. This said, I'll also say that it's not going to be smooth sailing every day. There will be difficult days, but we're all here to help you for those days.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Reshma. Thank you. Yes, of course, and like you all know, but even the Director General of Shipping, they are sponsoring Girl Cadets. And in the morning, if you've heard, they've already crossed 30 crores in investing in Girl Cadets. And now with the Sagar Mein Samman project, which has come up, I think now the avenues will open up much more, and more opportunities will be there for all the girls who are coming out. Oh yes, it's not a bed of roses, but the journey counts when you do something difficult, not something easy. So I think everybody here who has achieved so much, we have so many women here who have done such good work. None of it has been easy for any one of them here, you know, but they are there today with a smiling face, and I think that's what counts, right? Any other question?
I think there are days of adversity.
Yes, yes. And Saraswati is born resilient, as she said. So we are so proud that you're there as a part of this. Any other questions? So I would like to thank all the panelists. I know there was very short time we had for this. I wish we had more. But thank you so much, all those who have heard us today. Thank you very much for being present with us for the panel. And thank you, MUI, once again for giving us this opportunity and this platform to share our stories with all of you. Thank you so very much.